What immediately struck you about Jen D'Angelo's screenplay that made you go, I got to do this?
Yeah, yeah. Well, she's a very funny writer, so there's just all these little touches throughout. But to me, I think it was that it was a comedy about sisters and sisterhood.
It's gonna be fun.
I'm not sleeping on the floor.
I'm not sleeping on the floor either.
Then sleep on the chair.
And that's something I realized that's so rare. I'm also a big sucker for the underdog film, the road trip film, and that was just felt all rolled into one. Plus, when I came aboard, Sandra Oh and Awkwafina were already attached as the sisters. So I had the great advantage of reading the script and imagining them. And I know that Sandra was very excited about playing a very inappropriate, self-serving person. She liked the idea of pushing the boundaries of that character. And so that all those layers underneath, you know, you got to dig them out along the way. And then for Awkwafina, we've seen her dramatic chops in like The Farewell or in Swan Song. I mean, she's has just tremendous emotional ability, but we haven't seen that brought into her comedic work quite to this extent. So that was very exciting to me, and I think exciting to them as well.
You also have Will Ferrell, who produces and co-stars. He's essentially the story's Alex Trebek, right? Like I feel like it's one of the most gentle, like nuanced, subdued performances we've seen from Will in so long. Could you feel him sort of like kind of reeling it in on this one?
You know what it was is actually the initial idea for that character was more outrageous, was more broadly comedic. And he, you know, was the one who was open to making this character something a little bit different. And so I loved the idea of him being kind of an avuncular figure, trusted, who still has this kind of sense of wonder about what he does. And so that the real question is this guy too good to be true? You know, who's the man behind the curtain? And what we get from Will, I think, is just a very lovely, nuanced performance that's gently funny and very naturally funny.
Well, we've got to talk about the late, great Paul Reubens, who makes this amazing, hilarious, the heartfelt, honestly, tear-jerking cameo at the end of the film. I got a legit lump in my throat when he popped up. Well, what was your experience like with Paul?
It was just delightful. You know, we dreamed that we could that he would want to come and play with us, and we were trying to figure out how to approach him. And then one day we were at Sandra's house working, and she came out. She's like, "I got Paul Reubens on the phone," and yeah, he agreed to do it, and just could not be more gracious about it, more ready to play. And when he showed up, it was the first day, our first day of shooting. So we had the last scene of the film to shoot that day, plus Paul Reubens. And when Paul showed up, everyone got so excited. They were like, Pee Wee Herman's here. And it's just like this reminder of how much joy he brought to so many people. I mean, it really meant something that he was there. And seeing him banter around with Holland Taylor, and I think he had a wonderful time. We had an amazing time. So it's a memory that is really magical, but is also a bit bittersweet.